Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 40% alcohol blended Scotch whiskies, and this is Buchanan's Deluxe, age 12 years. Got the embossed bottle with the plastic devices on the side. Introduced in 1884 as Buchanan's finest liquor. Finest liqueur, it was actually called, but they changed it to the current name later. There it is on the back, the emblem from Scotland. It's got this special cap, plastic cap with a built-in security pourer. I can hear it releasing air right now. This runs about $30 to $35 a bottle, more like 35. It's aged 12 years. It's from Diageo. They bought Buchanan's and they make it. It's very popular in Latin America. I don't think they get it in Canada, and people in Scotland told me they've never seen it. Could be one of those export-only products, but it's very popular, like I say, in Louisiana and south of here. Okay. Chivas Extra 13 American Rye Cask Selection. A portion of this batch is aged in ex-American rye whiskey casks for some period of time. They say on the website all of it's aged at least 13 years. Then after they finish aging it for 13 years, they take a portion of it, age it in American rye casks for an unlisted amount of time, and then put it back into the blend, obviously thoroughly blend it, and they bottle it. And this is the 2019 limited edition Manchester United bottle. Special edition. Manchester United bottle commemorating 13 league championships. They still make this, but it's a different label. It's just the standard non-football label, non-soccer label. So here's Buchanan's 12-year-old, age 12 years, makes sense. They talk about how it used to be called Buchanan's finest liqueur. There's a locator tool, which is accurate. Flavor, not flavor, so it's a US website from the company. It has orange and chocolate notes. I never tasted any chocolate. Don't remember any orange. Perfect to be served on the rocks or with soda, garnished with a strip of orange peel. So they're mixing Scotch. And then they have this new Buchanan's pineapple flavored. You know, that's the big thing now, flavored whiskeys and that. So there you go. There's all the master, aged longer than 12 years, the special reserve, age 18 years, and red, which is really expensive, and age 21 years, and it's like $200, and I never bought it. I did buy a special reserve one time as a gift for someone. He still got most of it. Maybe one day I'll make it up the ladder here. Now here's Chivas Regal Extra 13 Rye Cask Selection. That's the current bottle. If you ever see it, which, in fact, I've never seen it. Got a foil cap, plastic cap cover. So they talk about it. Now here they're using the British spelling, a world flavor. And you know more about it as you feel like doing. And it's got, like I said, the foil cap cover, plastic cap. And this was a very special price for me. I paid $9.99 at Savannah Discount on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound in Marrero, Louisiana. True story. It really was $9.99. The normal price is about $45. So that was a very deep discount. Don't know why they had it so cheap. Didn't ask questions, just bought it and left. Okay. Poured a little bit too much, but they're both amber. Same appearance. 1 year difference in aging. One from Diageo, one from Chivas Brothers. Gaspar Gomez, Echeverria, and the Chivas. Okay. Smell honey, maybe a little peatiness, but that's like maybe. Definitely honey, sweet malt. Smoke, this is the Buchanan's, because there ain't no smoke in the Chivas Rye Cask Selection Extra Age 13. No way. No way, baby. So I'm telling you, on aroma only, without even tasting it, this is clearly the Buchanan's because of the smokiness. And if you don't like smokiness in your Scotch, don't buy Buchanan's 12-year age deluxe, because you're not going to like it. Got it right. Aroma only. So that's a lot of taste challenges now. What is about 13 wins, no losses, something like that. I have to check. Why is that? Because I'm so great at tasting? Yes, of course, I can't help it. But more than likely, it's not that so much as it's that this is a distinctive thing. Now, on aroma, no, but on the flavor, you'll notice I didn't have to go to that step, because this has the smoke and I know that doesn't. So that was the tip off. I used those clues to get it. But let's say I do taste it like I am going to right now. There's a sharpness. I don't know what it is. It's like a woody sharpness. It's not a harshness. I can't say it's harsh or unpleasant. Just a sharpness, an unusual and unique sharpness, which is clearly coming from the rye, American rye casks, rye whiskey casks. So I can't really describe it properly, but you could buy a bottle. Well, if you see it, there could be a problem. But because I know it's not common in Louisiana. But I mean, Chivas Regal is, the regular 12-year. That's everywhere. I'm talking about this thing. It could be a problem to track down. All of those, any of the extra 13 is going to be a problem to track down. It looks like around here. The regular one, this rye cask, the rum cask, the tequila cask, the port cask, the sherry cask, and so forth. You say, "Oh, come on! They just make all those variants so that you'll buy all of them." That's probably the reason. That's why companies make products, so you'll buy them. They do the same thing with Crown Royal. They got this, that, and every type of blended offering. This, that, everything. Well, they're going to keep it going, so you keep buying. Same thing with soup. And there's nothing wrong with it. You buy it or don't buy it. Smoke and cereal grain. Like really breakfast cereal that's sweetened with honey instead of cane sugar. And you say corn, puffs, and a barley cereal. Yeah, something like that. Because that's what it contains. Barley and corn. Both of them. Single malt. And that. Yeah, they're both pleasant. Now, which one tastes better? That's a question. I guess I don't know. I guess they're both even. I mean to say, I guess they're even. It doesn't make sense to say both even. They're even. It's two products. UK Scotch reg. Calculation. Let's see if I can find those. The summary. Scotch Whisky Association. Well, let's go to the UK government. Let's go to a primary source, not a secondary source. So apparently 15 years ago, they had the most current regulations. United Kingdom Statutory Instrument number 2890. That means the 2890th law passed that year. This is the original version as it was originally made, it's saying. What is a lot of, let's see. Let's go to definition of Scotch whiskey and categories. That's the best way to look at it. In these regulations, Scotch whiskey, quote unquote, means a whiskey produced in Scotland, that has been distilled at a distillery in Scotland from water and malted barley, to which only whole grains, not syrup or extract, of other cereals may be added. Now, of course, the grains can be crushed up into gravel, or you say grits, all of which have been processed at a distillery into a mash, converted at that distillery into a fermentable substrate only by endogenous enzyme systems. Let's look at that. I'll do the screen share so you can see what I'm reading. And at that distillery only by the addition of yeast. So see, that's legislation.government. Dismiss that. United Kingdom. And B, that has, so they're telling you grain, whole grain, other grains can be added of cereals. Says other cereals, didn't say which type. Could be rice, wheat, corn. If it's a cereal grain and it's a whole grain, you got it. That has been distilled to an alcoholic strength by volume of less than 94.8%, so that the distillate has an aroma and taste derived from the raw materials used in and the method of its production. That has been matured only in oak casks, and they tell you the size. Has been matured only in Scotland. Has been matured for a period of not less than 3 years. That has been matured only in an excise warehouse or permitted place. That retains the color, aroma, and taste derived from the raw materials used in and the method of its production and maturation, to which no substance has been added, or to which no substance has been added except water, plain caramel coloring, or water and plain caramel coloring. Doesn't say flavor. All right, so flavoring is not allowed. No substance has been added except two things: water and plain caramel coloring. And has a minimum alcoholic strength of a volume of 40%. So if you're drinking a Scotch whiskey that's less than 40%, it's not a true Scotch whiskey. It is a Scotch style liquor. Just like in the United States, whiskey must be at least 40% alcohol, or it's not a whiskey. It's a whiskey style liquor product, a distilled spirit specialty, which are allowed, but they're not true whiskey. Single malt Scotch means a Scotch whiskey that has been distilled in one or more batches at a single distillery from water and malted barley without the addition of any other cereals and in pot stills. Single grain, obviously, is grain. Blended malt Scotch whiskey, blended grain Scotch whiskey. But you don't see too many of those: blended grain Scotch, blended malt Scotch, and single grain Scotch. You really don't. You see single malt everywhere, and blended Scotch whiskey, a blend of one or more single malt Scotch whiskeys with one or more single grain Scotch whiskeys. So they have at least one single grain and one single malt, or they could have 1,000 of each. It's pretty wide open. So these rules are pretty flexible. Could be any type of cereal grain, long as it's whole grain. Single malt barley of any percentage. Notice they don't say it has to be at least 80% this, 20% that. There's none of those rules. Just has a proof requirement, an aging requirement, a type of wood requirement. And you can work within those regulations to make a million different things. Can't have flavoring added. They're very clear about that. But you can have coloring added, meaning only caramel coloring, which is sugar browned in a pan, to simplify what that is. All right, so there you go. Now, Ireland, their regulations are very similar. Canada is similar too, except in Canada, it also says caramel coloring and natural flavors can be added. Ooh, Jeff G says, good morning, Jay. Have you ever reviewed any of the Macallan brand whiskeys? No, I haven't. Are they worth the price? I do not know. I would assume they are. They wouldn't be so popular and well-renowned, renowned if they weren't. They're expensive, but you know how they say, you get what you pay for. So certainly I'd be open to trying them. I would like to try them. So Canada, yeah, same thing, except there's one qualifying difference. And it's a very important difference. You can add flavoring to Canadian whiskey. And I was reading the current regulations. They don't even show a percentage. It used to have a percentage requirement. Now it just says may use caramel coloring and natural flavors. Didn't say had to use it. It said may use it. American blended whiskey, same thing. You may add caramel coloring. You may add flavoring. Don't need to. It's not required. It's allowed. But then they're specific. They're specific on the percentage of what we would call single malt. Well, what they would call single malt in Scotland. In America, they call it straight whiskey. Same sort of thing in a way. But it has to be at least 20% straight whiskey, and then the other 80% can be unaged grain spirits. Believe it or not. Maybe, doesn't have to be, maybe. They allowed up to 80. So you could take corn, distill it into pure ethanol, alcohol, and blend it with straight bourbon, let's say straight bourbon, and sell it. And you could call it King of the Hill whiskey, It's allowed. Now, you might want to add some flavoring because it might be a little harsh and a little cheap taste. They do add flavoring oftentimes. What those flavorings are, I do not know. It tastes like vanilla to me, but could be some kind of miscomprehension of it. You say, well, if you're not aging the stuff, you're saving a lot of money because time is money. Yeah, and that's why sometimes you'll find those I know where to go get McCormick for $5.99. Full-size bottle of McCormick American blended whiskey, $5.99. Now, is it any good? Oh, well, that would depend who you're talking to. But obviously it sells. They wouldn't have it on the shelf if it didn't. They got the glass 750s and the plastic big. Those might be $12.99. So yeah, it just depends on your approach. Let's call it. Now, what do I prefer? Single malt Scotch or these blended Scotch whiskeys? I'm not sure, honestly. I know there's two factions and they hate each other and they unfriend each other and block each other on Facebook and they say nasty things, and one is an idiot, but the other one's a fool, a moron, a dummy, an imbecile, and a momo. But I'm not part of that conflict. But they go back and forth. Blended Scotch is the best because, and then they give all their reasons. It's more developed. It brings out more flavor. It's more complex. And then the single malt people say, no, fool. You need to get out of the skating rink and try to go to the exposition, and it's single malt. It's all barley. It's pure barley. It's not all that grain whiskey. and blah blah blah, and then they say so, and then it's back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of like beer, you got the purity people. They say it has to be pure water, barley malt, hops, and yeast. That's it. Pure beer, water, barley malt, hops, and yeast, and maybe wheat since we changed the law years later. But and then you got the other one saying, "Oh, you fuddy duddy old man, throwback beer fan. This is not 1972. This is the modern age. It can have pineapple. It can have cocoa nibs. It can have coffee from a, of course, fair trade coffee company. It can have all these flavors. It can be hazy. It does not have to be clear. It does not have to be put in a finishing tank to be crystal clear. You are wrong." And the other one says, "No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong." And then you could be like me. You, the viewer, can be like me. Just sit back and watch all that and be like, "No, I guess I'll try both. I like both. Doesn't matter to me. Either way. Purity, flavored. I don't care." But it's all about the factions you want to join, or like I say, you could be an independent and be in both factions. You say, "What faction are you in?" I'll tell people both. I like the smokiness, to tell you the truth now. Obviously, they're using Isla Scotch, that smoky island Scotch, which some people love. It offends other people. They'll say, "Oh, gack, yuck, nasty. Why would I want to drink anything that's smoked? Y'all are a bunch of idiots. I'm out of here. Bye." Where you going? Why are you leaving so soon? "I'm going to get some smoked pork." "Screw all y'all with your smoke." Well, you just said you're going to get smoked pork. Why do you like it? Well, it's smoky. It's so wonderful. Oh, I see. Um, but I like it, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. But then I like this one too. So I'm torn. I'm so divided. I'm so divided. I can't figure it out. I don't know what to do. And it's a game. I like this. I really like the $9.99 that I paid. Yes. Oh, I won't have much left when I'm finished these challenges, I'm afraid. But it's been a fun little experimentation. I love this, but then, like I say, it's $35. But and I never seen that on discount. But what's coming up next? Tomorrow I'm planning to do White Horse, the legendary White Horse Scotch, which I never saw. I was like, oh well, I'll probably never see that. I don't think they really sell it in the U.S. of A. United States of America. Here I am over there at Star in Kenner, Louisiana, and I was shocked, stunned, flabbergasted, not to mention confused, dazed and confused. For so long it ain't true. But I said, "Woof, White Horse," in a big jug bottle with the handle glass. I said, "Ooh," it was, it was like $30, 37. But anyway, it was a big jug bottle. I said, "Oh yeah, I got to buy it." So I bought it, and if you look at the website, they're talking about, oh yeah, it's a famous old Scotch whiskey. It's blended, of course, and the heart of it is the Lagavulin. They use Lagavulin single malt. Oh, it's so amazing. It's so fancy, and there's like different types of it. But of course, we only get the regular standard White Horse. If you can say we get it in one store at least. And my friend David was so amazed by it. He was like, "Oh man," he kept calling me on the phone. "Man, this stuff is so good." I was like, "Yeah." And then later he was like, "I'm kind of off of it." Well, maybe he drank a little too much. But he was saying he really liked it. And I like it too. And that's going to be very interesting and exciting. Exciting and new. So that's going to be fun. And then we have two other oh wait, what am I saying? We got Grant's Triple Wood, or they call it Family Reserve. They used to call it Family Reserve. Now they call it Triple Wood. What changed? The name, not the process. They use 3 different wood treatments. It's, to me, it's not that good. It's like, you did all of this work and this is all you got. Glad I only paid $23 for the handle, but yeah. So I'm not too thrilled with it. And then we got their cheap blended offering, their budget brand, which is the doggone Clan McGregor, which you can still find sometimes for like $10 a bottle. To me, that's a lot nicer. I don't, I shouldn't be saying that, but I think it tastes better than the Grants, but maybe I'm a heretic. All right. So that's that. And then we got Inverhouse Green Plaid, which is really cheap, but not bad. And then but not that great, but not bad. And then Glen Logie, which I kind of like that. Glen Logie is from Witt and McKay, or whatever their subsidiary branding is called. And then that's it. And then we're on to brandy. We all take care now. Bye-bye.